Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the GameBrew podcast here on the Funky Games YouTube channel. I am joined with my brother Steven, aka Ireland, and Dan, aka The Big Show. My name is Daniel, also known as Eisendale. How are you guys doing today?
I'm chill. I'm excited. Hype.
Yeah, hanging in, man. We're doing it. How about yourself?
So I'm doing good. I have been playing some video games finally. The past 2 weeks I've not been playing video games, but I have been playing Shining Pearl. I couldn't remember which one I played. Shining Pearl.
Pokemon game.
Pokemon Shining Pearl for the Nintendo Switch, and I've been enjoying it. And I caught my first shiny yesterday, a shiny Ponyta, so that's been the highlight of my week.
Wait, pause. What is a shiny?
It's a different colored Pokemon.
It's a 1 in 4,092 chance to encounter a shiny, legitimately.
Oh, okay.
And I have not played that much, so it is very surprising that I found one.
Did you have like a Ponyta statue or no?
No.
Nice. It's just complete legitimate. Wow, congratulations. 20 years
I
later,
know.
25 years later, you can...
Exactly.
Wow, you guys may as well.
So what games have you
speak
guys been
Russian.
playing?
Well, we're playing
games?
Pokemon trading card game on the channel. There's more episodes of Halo dropping. Friendship Evolved.
Yeah, Friendship Evolved.
But I too have Pokemon Diamond generously given to me for my birthday from somebody, some guy. It's still wrapped in its packaging, but I have it and I can play it.
Such a troll.
I try.
And what have you been playing?
I believe I'm still playing the same games as last week. Still playing Knights of the Old Republic, and still playing Mario Party Superstars. Knights of the Old Republic. I mean, the port is a little bit brutal in some ways. They have I don't know if you've seen this online. So whenever you get into combat, there's this dialogue box. It takes up literally a third of the screen, and all it says is like, engaged in combat or enemy found.
No.
Like it provides actually no relevant information for you, but very strange. And I never played the original. I don't know if that's like something normal for the game, but it's pretty brutal. But in either case, we're pushing on.
You got to play some Doom 2016.
Yes, it is on the list.
It's on the list.
I played about the first 45 seconds of the game and turned it off for some reason. I don't remember why.
Foolishness.
Very violent. Very violent.
It is Doom. Doom is violent. It's so good.
I've never played a Doom game. I couldn't. Yeah.
Well, this is the only one like it, so it's close to the original one, but like obviously like 40 years difference.
Yeah, I was impressed by the amount of gore and violence.
Yeah.
Like literally within the first 40.
All to a nice metal soundtrack, like it's perfect.
Yes.
And what's hilarious about that game isn't our first introduction to that game at the Corner Coffee House?
Same people. It was Quake.
Quake.
So Quake
okay,
came later,
never
but
mind.
yeah, it's basically the same game. Also Unreal Tournament.
In a coffee shop, that graphic game that we would just play on the computer
in
at the
elementary
coffee
school.
Yeah.
Love it.
Okay,
Shout out
so
to the
guys,
Corner Coffee House, bro.
I know that place is awesome. But let's get into it. Let's crack our brews and start on today's topic. So I've already opened mine, so
Yeah, I've also already
Oh, here, I'll do it for everyone. Just nice.
we had a nice little warm up, so
yeah, we
Okay,
had a
I
disastrous
freaking-
pre setup meeting here.
So I went home for the holidays and Steven stocked me up on some beer. So I'm drinking a Mexican chocolate stout.
Nice. And I have an oatmeal stout from that same box.
Nice.
That sounds disgusting. I would never drink either of those. I'm a filthy swine, and I'm just drinking a Heineken.
Heineken time. It's real Heineken hours.
Yes.
Okay, so our topic this time is we are talking about League of Legends new TV show that is out on Netflix. It is killing the game in the Netflix world. It is called Arcane.
Mm-hmm.
Is that just the full title?
Yep, it's just Arcane. Simple, sweet, beautiful,
So
handcrafted.
It doesn't reference that disgusting game that your sweaty cousin plays. So probably you, I guess, if you're watching this podcast.
Yeah, they didn't call it League of Legends, the series, which was
Correct.
probably a good call.
Absolutely a right call. Yes.
So for backstory, League of Legends is a video game or computer game that came out
2009.
2009. It is what is the official
A
type of
MOBA,
game?
a multiplayer online battle arena.
So Steven started playing it way back in the day. He got us hooked on it. I was playing it in high school, so it's been 10 years
decade,
since
yep.
I started playing it. So that has been a solid game for us. And then now they have recently come out with their own Netflix animated show. So Steven, give us the rundown on the show.
Well, before I go into it too much, I just want to say that it is not a video game adaptation. So there's very little. There's some nice like references to the game itself, but it's really focused on the world and where the characters exist in the background of the game. So that I think is what makes this really objectively good. It's just a good story. Like they've always made a lot of money off of these characters and the stories that they tell. They've got a ton of music videos, a little cinematic stuff, and so this was a natural progression as far as that goes. So the show itself covers a very realistic political ecosystem as far as a literal top side and bottom side city. So it's a very nice, rich aesthetic on top, literally on top of the people that are in the muck and dirt. And so it's called Piltover and Zon. So it's the political battle of those two entities fighting for what they think is right. So really, really simple concept at the top level, but a lot of really good characters. So.
And how is that show doing so far?
So it is currently beating out
But bonkers.
Bonkers. Yeah, it's better than Stranger Things as far as performance, just to set that bar already for Netflix. I think it's in the top 10 English viewings in the world. It might be the top 1 in the world right now as far as English show. So like it is absolutely killing the game as far as just numbers.
The fact that the fact that mainstream media sources are having to write about it and acknowledge it, I think is pretty telling. Because I mean, you know, whether it's related to a video game adaptation, however you want to call it, I mean, that's not something that would naturally just come up, like, you know, just out of nowhere. So if it wasn't doing the numbers that it's doing, it would just, you know, be ignored.
Yeah. So right now, and I'm double checking it on Rotten Tomatoes, it has 100% on the tomato meter and a 97% audience score, and it's held that pretty much the entire time since it's been out. So it is bonkers. And this is a whole series. Like the whole series is out. It's been out for a little bit now. So it's not just like one episode and everybody's like, oh, League of Legends. And it's not just the fan base, because if the fan base didn't like it, no one would be hearing about it. And so you got the fan base on board, and then everybody who's watched is like, oh, this is legitimately good. This is good. And it has so many things going against it. It's a video game adaptation. It's animated. It's a series. It's not a movie. It's not in theaters. So like there's a lot of things that supposedly needed to happen for a video game adaptation to be successful. So I think that's where we look at Blizzard's attempts. I heard that their Dota series is actually pretty good or something like that. I haven't heard anything about it, so obviously this is infinitely better. But like the World of Warcraft movie was garbage, right? Had anyone seen that?
Did that even come out?
Oh yeah, he sure did.
Yeah,
Oh.
there was in fact a movie. I cannot report it. Two things. One, I can't name a more irrelevant media critic site than Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, okay. Do I need to find a relevant one? I need to find a relevant.
No,
Wait. Why don't you like Rotten Tomatoes? What's up with that? I don't know anything about. I hate cinema, so I can't really speak to like what I'm supposed to be looking at.
Yeah, I mean, and it's kind of ironic that we're here talking about kind of media, TV, movies, kind of in general, because I can't think of two more curmudgeonly people than me and you. I don't exactly know where Daniel lands on this scale, but like I don't even I mean, just like everyone else, I don't pay for Netflix. I'm not a big TV guy. I personally would not have Netflix if my sister-in-law didn't have it. So, it's just one of those things. But yeah, I mean, the entire meme is like, there's the critic score, and there's the audience score, and like for all these terrible, what's the word, just destructions of art that people put out, like Last Jedi will have like 95% on
Critics.
on the critic score, and like a 20% on the user score. So yeah, I mean, so that's that. But anyway, so what is the League of Legends fan base? Like, what numbers wise, what are we talking here? And I'm putting you on the spot, but
so if we want to talk about
player base, and then there's kind of like the esports side,
right? Like, I mean, numbers wise, that would be hard to talk about like fan base, but like active users, that is a stat I could pull up, and I'm going to do it while I talk really slowly. They were promoting, but at the end of the day, the whole point of this is to get more people to play the game, because that's where they make the money. Is the esport exists, the music exists, all of the extra stuff exists to funnel people into their games. They actually have multiple games now, which is the first time that they've had that as Riot Games, plural. So this was also the first time that they incorporated a big advertising push in all of their games. So every game that they have had some kind of Arcane tie-in. They put Jinx, a character, in Fortnite. So like all of the stops were pulled out. So I think that is such a confident play that this was going to be very good to advertise outside of your ecosystem, which is why I can confidently say everyone should at least try to watch it, because it's just objectively good. They didn't spend all of this money to create it and then all this money to advertise it. If they weren't confident it wasn't going to resonate with people that didn't play League of Legends.
Yeah, I will add that. Yeah, go ahead.
I would just say I feel like this is coming at a good time for it, because as I said, like, I've played this game for so long. It's just been a game that has been my go-to, my comfort game for years, and I recently just became at the point where I have not played that game in 3-4 months minimum, and I'm at the point where I don't know if I'll pick it up again. So hopefully this will re-energize me. And I don't know, I mean, it's a great game, they update it constantly. It's one game, just move on eventually. But
yeah, it has a historically toxic fan base. They're working to fix that. And I don't want to turn this into a shill for the game, because
that's one way to put it.
But I did find the player number. It has 180 million players, which is more than Steam. Like this is
now is that 180 like accounts, or 100? I mean, I guess there's really no way to judge like active.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is alone.
Okay.
Continue your question though.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I I believe our group of friends kind of all got into the game at the same time through Steven once again. But I mean, I think I personally played it pretty hard from 2009 to 2012 ish, and I am shocked that you guys played it for so long. It was such a it was an experience, man. Like the long games, yeah, and I really don't mind a toxic fan base. I was probably a toxic player in a way. At least in our group of friends.
Oh yeah.
I was fairly toxic, but yeah, it was more of the sting of defeat. The length of the games. It was an experience, man. It was hard.
Yeah, knees weak, palms are sweaty. Like those games got
Yes, bro.
intense. Like you would come out of a 40-minute game and be shaking it out. Like holy cow. But yeah,
but back to Arcane. So just before we started, I started the episode 1, and I watched the first 17, 18-ish minutes of it, and I mean, it's interesting. Kind of like I said, I'm not really a TV guy, but I will definitely finish this episode, and I will probably watch another one. So kudos to them.
Okay, so I got the average monthly player base is 117 million.
Jesus.
Currently, right now, while we're recording, there's over 570,000 people playing in this exact moment.
God.
and I know it doesn't make any sense, but for some reason with this game, I feel like it's still an underground game, and so whenever
Small
I am
indie
out
company,
in
man.
public, and I know it's big, and I'm not trying to be like I discovered it before it was cool, but literally I was at like H&M and they had like a t-shirt and I was like, yeah, League of Legends is making it to the mainstream. But it is mainstream. Like I don't know why I can't get my head around it like that. People know about it. Whenever someone's like, oh, I played League of Legends, I'm like, whoa, you know?
You've heard of League of
But like,
Legends?
but if I see like a Legend of Zelda thing, I'm like, yeah, that's a dime a dozen. But
Right. One small anecdote to back up your point. So me and Steven at least live in St. Louis. So I work in a fairly rural part of Missouri. That's not exactly the right way to say it, but let's just say I drive well outside of the city to my job. And my boss was asking me, we're just kind of talking. He was like, "Oh, are you a gamer?" And I was like, I play some games. And he's like, "Do you play League of Legends?" And I was like, that's a funny thing. Well, long story short, he's a project manager, and he was talking about how he was trying to get a job at Riot like 10 years ago. And he was like, "Man, it's just crazy how they blew up." And I was like, "Yes, it is, sir."
that's wild.
Yeah, it's so hard to accept that it's mainstream. Like the esport getting more like recognition. I still think that doesn't really resonate with as many people, which is why making this television series is such a good call, because it's a little easier of a pill to swallow for the average human being. But I personally, because I really enjoy the esport probably the most of it all, and if by default, like it's almost like the baby steps. Like if you like the show and you get invested in the characters, and then you got a good little taste of it, and then you're like, oh, here's the esport, and I like this. And if you don't ever make it to the game part, I'm pretty good, but the esport part, I'm like, as many people, it's like I want to go to like a random party or to a bar and it's on the TV, I'm gonna lose it. If I go to like the brewing club, the brew house, and it's on the TV, I will probably pass out straight up.
Yeah,
I've seen it at Buffalo Wild Wings. Like, it's
Well, they're
so
a partner, so that
crazy.
doesn't necessarily count. I would expect it.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But-
I never thought about that.
I'm so excited. So here in Topeka, some people just opened up a gaming bar. And in the interview that they did with the news, they were like, yeah, my friends and I were playing this game called League of Legends at a bar, and we got kicked out because the owner was like, we don't do cartoons here. And so he opened up his own gaming bar. because of League of Legends. So
Yeah.
I'm so excited to go there. On all the TVs, they
Respect.
have just controllers with like N64 stuff, so it'll be fun.
Yeah, like the pandemic probably brought up like the gamer revolution a lot faster I think the prevalence of the Switch is a big component to it, and franchises moving into the video media like that. I mean, like what we saw with Marvel and the superhero movement is what we're experiencing now with the gaming stuff. Like, I think Riot is going to have their cinematic universe based off of this. It's almost guaranteed. They're already starting on season 2. So that's already like fully funded, I'm sure. They have Tencent money, so like that's kind of the same as Marvel, just taking all the Chinese dollars. So like financially, it's always going to be successful. And if the Mario movie does well, like we're game over. This is all good. Like you have Detective Pikachu, you have Sonic the Hedgehog, which were what I would call like C, which is probably the best score that you could ever hope for with a game movie up until this point. Arcane is an A+. So if that Mario movie comes into that B/A category, like it's happening.
Well, even Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds, that did pretty well.
It did good. I haven't looked a lot into that, so I'm glad it's doing well.
I will say one thing for if that is their plan to do a whole, which I'm sure it is, hail our emperor that over at Tencent. But I mean, if the whole cinematic universe is their plan, or just as they just try and expand things, I will say, because I am also into the esport quite a bit. It's a hard watch, man. It took me probably a good. I mean, I think what is this? My second season, I think, of watching.
You're going into your third. Like it took you 2 full seasons, and there was some waxing and waning in that, from my observations.
Yes, and I am just about like invested. It is a hard watch, bro. And I've played the game. If for people who haven't played the game, like my wife has watched the game with me, and she's like, "This is absolutely stupid. Like, why are we watching this right now?" And granted, she's not really a gamer, not into that scene, so it is what it is. But like, the one thing is, she enjoys the LEC production quality. She likes hearing the European voices and all that. So, I don't know. I mean, it's a hard watch, bro. So these shows better be good if they're trying to reach out to people.
Oh yeah, no, they are. I guarantee. Like I'm giving my like absolute promise that anyone that watches it will enjoy it if they just like don't even think about the video game aspect, just like absorb the content in front of you. You will enjoy it. It's just a great story. It's really good character development. I'm a huge stickler for like story arc, world building, like that's why I really fell into everything outside of the game. And they nailed it. They didn't bring in any Hollywood producers, which I commend them for. They didn't, like, the showrunner. These are all employees that worked on the game and worked in the lore department and stuff like that they made the show with. So it is I don't want to say a passion project, but like it's an art form of animation, in my opinion, and storytelling.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna bring up. The fact that it is good is probably directly related to the fact that they did it completely in house. Like, because I was reading an article, and you may have even sent it to me. I was reading an article about it, how they basically just use the people who are already creating stories for them, and they just kind of shifted them right into it. So yeah, I mean, that's granted. You do have a how controversial do I want to be? Granted, you do have a blue-haired and pink-haired like female protagonist, and there's nothing against female protagonists, but the thing is, we want them to be good and like organic, not like forced and all plastic. Like that's why we cringe so much when like old media and old stories are kind of brought back up in this Hollywood mold. It's like, God, I really don't want you guys touching this at all, bro.
Yes, and I agree in the fact that these are the best female protagonists I've seen in Common Era, hands down. And there's more of them. There's a ton of strong, like, great female characters in here, and I'm just like, yes, like there's it's really cool because like it ends the arguments, in my opinion, just because it's like a horrible cis white male as that I am. It's just like this is all that we were really asking for, was just really well written characters. Not, it had nothing to do with them being female or blue or pink hair or whatever. Like nothing. Like Admiral Holdo, be gone. Like you're not a good character.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, Ray, be gone, bro. Like,
Yeah.
bring us like a Zelda TV show or something like that. That would be incredibly tight.
Yes.
You know, like I hate the fact that they tried to like put this whole thing on like, oh, gamers hate, like this whole Gamergate thing. Like, oh,
Gamers don't like women.
Yeah, gamers hate women, bro. Are you kidding me, bro? if you give us an attractive female who does something awesome, like we will literally tattoo those people on our bodies. Like, are you out of your mind?
Jeez.
We will literally buy life-size pillows of them to. Oh
God. Now we're getting controversial, but no,
Yeah,
there's
now
like it is such a good piece. Like I cannot tell people enough. Like if you don't like League of Legends, if you don't like video games, you're still going to like this. If you don't like animation, you'll still like this. Like if you don't like cartoons, you will like this. Like it is really really
animation
good.
is like the just kind of the shots of like, you know, the what do you call it, the undercity and the overcity.
Yeah, Zon and Piltover.
The landscape is very cool.
It's so very cool. Well done. Like I have a concept art book, and like just looking back through that, and I was like, here's the vision. This is what they were doing. This is this is stayed the through line that you can see from way back in the day, from what they started with when they did like a soft reset as far as like, okay, this game's a little bit more than just kind of like a Dota clone. So now let's kind of like make it our own and make it really like that through line from like 8 years ago when they did that is to today, and it's great. It's amazing.
Well, and that's where they've like planted the seeds for this to be successful, because there is very interesting lore, and they've set up these kingdoms and worlds that they have left it ambiguous enough that there could be different characters we haven't heard of. And in the game, they mention a lot of characters that we never see. So they have the capabilities to like bring everything to life that they've been writing about. So it's good.
Yeah, it's just like how fast are they willing to go and keep that going. And as long as they can keep those pressures out, this will be incredibly successful for them. And they can be like,
fingers crossed.
I hope so, because it's like it's a really good way of tackling topics. Like if you want to look at the societal components of it, it tackles a really good classism and like government influence like argument, which is really really timely. It does it such a good way too, and it's I cannot sing its praises enough. And I would be the first one to be really salty and really nitpick something it's almost impossible to do.
That's very interesting. I mean, I think we briefly brought up Squid Game on this podcast, and I thought Squid Game also did it fairly well. And I mean, I think it's a topic that can be done in a not preachy way, in a very interesting and a very cool way. That can appeal to a lot of different people, like even people on the top, even people on the bottom. So yeah, I mean, it's a cool space. I look forward to finishing episode 1.
I'm telling you, you'll like watch them all, man. Like it's going to be worth it. You're going to want to. So I'm pretty confident in that, but I don't want you to like not watch them all out of spite, because you're doing yourself a disservice. Don't do that to me and yourself.
I mean, it is coming up. Even despite the fact that it was 70 degrees today in St. Louis, it is winter in the Midwest. So I'm sure I will have time.
Yeah, you'll have time. You'll figure it out.
Yes, I will have time to finish this show.
Yes, and I will take a break from my Yu-Gi-Oh to transfer over to that.
Please. So. Graham will like it too. So.
Yeah, I know he's like kind of animated out, so we've been.
It doesn't as long as you just sit and just like, I'm going to accept what comes on the screen. It's not like that. Just like, it's really realistic. It's stylized. I wouldn't even call it like animation for the sake of animation. It's really good stylization. You know, in the Harry Potter movies where they do the story about the three brothers and stuff, and it's like super stylized. Yeah. It's like a whole film that feels like that without being obnoxious and over the top.
Yeah. Is it like Into the Spider-Verse? I loved that. Oh my gosh.
I think it's as good as Into the Spider-Verse is, where Spider-Verse was emulating a comic book feel. It's emulating the feel of the game as far as the artistic style goes. If you've watched like the higher end cinematics, it's the same company. It's the same company that did the music videos for Get Jinxed. It's the same company. They're like, you guys did a good music video. Make this movie, this series. They're like, okay.
Which, by the way, the League cinematics are freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's 9 episodes of League cinematic. Like,
yeah,
the score is
so
great.
good.
Like, everything's great. Big praises.
So it sounds like Steven recommends it.
Watch it.
Starting to watch it. My dog is starting to bark.
I'll watch it
for attention, but I will go check it out. So, do you guys have any final thoughts?
Get Funky merch. Go to the store, funky.store. You can get a cool plump t-shirt for the big plump boy that you are now that the holidays are in full swing. You can buy it for your friends. You can buy it for yourself. It's heckin' comfy. It feels good. Snuggle up, put on your t-shirt, watch some Arcane. Funky.store, FNKY.store.
Yes, please help put Steven's prepubescent children through college. Buy his fucking merch.
You have to. You have to now. It's for the children.
Exactly. Look me up on Mario Party Superstars if you want to get clapped on some Peach's birthday cake.
I guess we could start like funneling people to the Discord. We do have a Discord. If you can find it, you can come in. But I don't know how much I want to open the gates to everyone yet. So, but maybe it'll be like a Patreon thing or something. Who knows?
Isn't that the way Discord works? Aren't you supposed to like build a community of gamers in a way?
Yeah, it's a pretty decently sized like Discord, but I don't know if I've like purged all the personal stuff out of it yet. So we gotta be.
Yes,
but you can probably find it. If you're watching this video, you're cool enough to be in the Discord, I think.
Yeah, I would agree. It's a little hard.
So make sure you subscribe, like this video, comment below if you've watched the show or if you've played League of Legends. Tell us if you're support, mid lane, AD carry, or jungle. We will be back next Monday.